This is an updated, advanced version on how to handle a traffic stop when traveling privately. This guide not only empowers you to assert your rights, but also outlines how to establish yourself as a private traveler beforehand. We'll cover everything from preparing with a U.S. national passport and DOT number to walking away victorious in court if it comes to that. Let's get started. Before even hitting the road, take these steps to establish your position as a private traveler and avoid unnecessary confrontation. Complete a DS-11 form and apply for a U.S. national passport. Use it as your identification instead of a state-issued driver's license. This signals your private status, as the passport does not tie you to commercial activity. On the DS-11 form, specify your status as a U.S. national and not a U.S. citizen where applicable. Always carry this passport with you. Register for a private motor carrier DOT number via the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. This number indicates that your vehicle operates privately and not commercially. Attach this DOT number to a private license plate on your vehicle. Ensure your private plates clearly state not for hire or private. With these steps completed, you're better prepared to assert your rights during any interaction. Start recording the moment you see flashing lights. Announce audibly, "This interaction is being recorded for transparency and protection of my rights." As the officer approaches, remain composed. You are asserting your lawful position. When the officer asks for your license and registration, respond, "Officer, this is a private vehicle not engaged in commerce. I am not required to present a driver's license or commercial registration." Ask, "Am I being detained or am I free to go?" If detained, follow up with, "What is your reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime?" When the officer mentions speeding, registration, or insurance, "Officer, I am traveling privately in a non-commercial capacity. I am exercising my right to travel under the Constitution and common law. Traffic regulations for motor vehicles and drivers do not apply to private travelers." If the officer persists, I would state, "I am not required to present a driver's license or commercial registration." If you insist on making this a commercial matter, I assume your bond is sufficient to sustain the financial liability you may incur by violating my rights and forfeiting any qualified immunity. Please cite the specific statute that requires private travelers to adhere to commercial traffic laws. Provide your passport card if necessary and explain, "This is my identification. I am not engaged in regulated commercial activity requiring a driver's license." If accused of speeding, speeding regulations apply to drivers of motor vehicles engaged in commerce. However, I fully intend to do my best to comply with relevant regulations for obvious safety reasons. But since I am not driving commercially currently, like the private motor carrier DOT number on this automobile indicates, these laws do not apply to me. Can you provide evidence to the contrary? If the officer insists on issuing a ticket or making an arrest, remain calm and say, "I do not consent to any unlawful detainment or arrest. You are acting under color of law and violating my constitutional right to travel. This will be addressed in court." In court, focus on cross-examining the officer to discredit their understanding of the law. How long have you been a law enforcement officer? How many traffic tickets have you issued? This will likely be a lot. Can you define motor vehicle as per 18 U.S.C. Section 31A.6? Can you define driver under federal law? Based on these definitions, can you prove I was engaged in commercial activity? If the officer cannot provide clear answers or evidence, move for dismissal. Your Honor, the officer has failed to establish jurisdiction or prove that I was engaged in commercial activity. I request an immediate dismissal based on lack of evidence and jurisdiction. If your rights were violated, file a lawsuit under 42 U.S.C. Section 1983 for deprivation of rights under color of law. Include claims for false arrest, false imprisonment, emotional distress, loss of income, if applicable, punitive damages for negligence, and reckless disregard for your rights. By taking these steps, you can confidently assert your right to travel and protect yourself from unlawful enforcement actions. Remember to prepare by obtaining your passport card and DOT number. Share this knowledge to empower others and my channel for more resources. Thank you for learning how to stand up for your rights effectively. Together, we can hold public servants accountable and preserve our freedoms. This is not legal advice, but for educational and entertainment purposes only. Share and follow for more.